Hi, how are you?
How are you guys doing today?
We're great, thank you.
What is it like to put a documentary like this together? Because we're talking about somebody who could take on life and keep going when other people have, he's done. No, he's not. He just keeps going.
It's funny you said that. We actually started the documentary thinking that we were following Jason through his last season of playing football, and that this was going to be a transition into retirement story. And then Jason decided to keep playing. And that happened to be the magical season where he started a podcast with his brother that went to the top. He went on a Super Bowl run. His wife is pregnant with their third daughter and almost gives birth at the Super Bowl. So what an amazing journey that we were privileged to go on with the Kelces.
The two brothers squaring off in the Super Bowl. I don't think sports history will ever forget that because, everybody was taking their side. And the thing is I remember cheering for both sides.
Well, as Donna Kelce would say, when people would say, who are you rooting for? She'd say the offense.
To be clear, I was rooting for the Eagles. But no one ever asked me. No one asked me when we were making the film who I was rooting for. So, but I'll tell you now.
Yes, we're Philadelphians. Of course, we're going to root for the Eagles. But I hope what comes through in the film is the Kelce family are just people you want to root for, no matter who they play for.
What's really interesting about this documentary is the fact that how genuine you have made it. There are so many documentaries out there, but you guys have such a connection to the viewer. It's almost like you could see us while you were doing the documentary.
Wow, thank you. That's
quite a compliment.
Quite a compliment, and we appreciate that. And I think it's it's how we make films, and that's how we've made films since we started. Our company 914 Pictures, Philadelphia based. This year was our 20th year in business, which that in of itself to make a living and have a company 20 years in the entertainment business is a feat on its own. But the fact that we've been able to have this be our the film that had came out during our 20th anniversary and have it be a film about Philadelphia, about the Eagles, about Jason Kelce. You couldn't really ask for anything more in terms of an anniversary film, if you will. And it's how we've made docs from the very beginning. It's been we do it very small. It's usually very 2 to 3 person crew max. Yeah. A lot of times there's plenty of scenes in the film where it's literally just me and a camera with just me doing audio on my own. And within that, I think you get real moments because, it's not about, oh, there's a camera. Of course, Jason knows he's on camera. Of course, they know that they're being filmed. But once that the kind of, if you take the production out of it, that there's there's 5 cameras here and lighting and all this other stuff. There's an element that just people feel like they have to perform because you're making it kind of a production. And I think the way that we kind of do the opposite of that, which is let's go in bare bones, as minimal as possible, and get people to be comfortable. Because somebody like Jason is certainly used to being in front of cameras, and he's been doing it his whole life. But Kylie isn't. His parents aren't. And when you bringing a camera into an environment, obviously you end up changing the environment to a degree, and people feel like, we're being filmed, so we have to act a certain way. But I think, as Sheena said, we had spent so much time with them, prior to this season that we already had a shorthand. There was already trust built. It was never a big deal. It's like, oh yeah, they're coming over tonight. I would say hey, what are you guys doing tonight? It'd be great if we can get some family stuff, yeah. Putting the kids to bed, or making dinner, or the mundane things that everybody thinks aren't that exciting. But frankly, we know that is the thing that sets films like this apart, because when you're making a film about an athlete or a football player, what they do as their job is only a small fraction of who they are. And to really expand on that and show his life behind the scenes, and show him as a father and a husband and a brother and a son, that's when you start to get a complete picture of who Jason is and what matters to him.
And to capture it so elegantly in the way of telling the real story, because I was going to ask you about the cameras. Were they some sort of a pendant or something? Because the way that they act on that camera, it's like maybe you're a silent wolf. You're just there, and they can't see the camera.
No, they're real big cameras. They're
real cameras, but I think, because we started this as a retirement journey and had filmed for almost a year before they went on the Super Bowl run, we really had developed a genuine friendship and relationship with the whole family. So there was a trust there. And, as Don mentioned, it's the little moments, like watching Jason read, Oh, the Places You'll Go to his kids at bedtime, and to see kind of how perfectly the words in the story match what he's doing on the football field. Feels like it was scripted, but it wasn't. We just got these incredible moments and these intimate, authentic scenes because the family is so real.
What's interesting about this is with you guys celebrating 20 years and then with Jason, talking about the retirement and everything, one of the things that we all have to face in life is that moment or that wall where we used to be. Did you deal with that with Jason at all, or even with yourselves? We used to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, your whole life is that, you as you get older, you start to become more reflective. You start to think about, your life and moments in your life and how, and that changes as you get older. Like the moments don't change, but your thoughts about them change as you get older and things become, more put in perspective. So, yeah, I mean, I think so much of, what we do, I do think that, making documentaries behind the scenes, it's a very interesting process, and it's been something that we've done for 20 years now, and hopefully we'll be able to continue it. But at the same time, we are in a business that's very volatile, that there is no guarantees. Certainly what we're going through in our industry right now with the actor strikes and the writer strikes has greatly impacted our business. Also, even people that like us that make documentaries and nonfiction, we're being impacted because the industry is slowed down. So, I feel like I'm about to turn 51. Last year, I turned 50, and that's a big milestone. As you get older, and the number becomes kind of scary, and you're like, wow, okay, 50. I don't know if I have 50 more years. So things start to get a lot more intense, and you start to think about things a lot deeper, and the sense that we're very fortunate that we've been able to keep ourselves, in business and to make a living doing what we do for 20 years. I also feel like, that fire, like we've never lost that fire to kind of keep hustling, because that's what it takes to continue. Like, well,
I'm not shocked by your drive. My God, you're Eagles fans. I mean, there's something about an Eagles fan that sticks out. You should see what happens to Charlotte when they're playing at Bank of America Stadium. You barely see any Carolina Panther stuff. It's all Eagles colors. It's like you come down here and take over our town.
We're like a virus. We come and infect your town.
So when a player, because you've gotten so close now, when a player faces that injury, I can't imagine what is going through their head. I know what it was like when I couldn't be with people during the lockdown. I freaked out. I need to be with people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you see that in the film with Jason. He says, when he gets injured during the season, what is it, week 5? You don't know if you just played your last play. You don't know if that was your last snap, and nothing is guaranteed. So you've got to make the most out of every moment you have. And Jason embodies that underdog, never going to quit spirit that I think a lot of us here in Philadelphia, you like to have. For us,
it was also a perfect, kind of partnership, because us being a Philadelphia-based production company, and even though, our body of work we're extremely proud of, and we've continued to make, films that have resonated with people. We still have a chip on our shoulder because we're not in New York, we're not in Los Angeles, we're not where the business is, and that was kind of by design, and that was our that was our preference to stay in Philadelphia. But we always feel like we have something more to prove. We always feel like yeah, keep underestimating us. We'll show you. And I think like that is what that's what drives us. So the fact that we got to be able to partner with Jason and Connor Barwin and NFL Films and Skydance Sports and Amazon to bring this very, very special and important film for us to the masses, it's just kind of been a dream come true. And I'm still processing it, to be honest. It's been 2 years, and I'm still kind of
about the PTSD we felt in the edit room. Watch them lose over and over and over again.
I made a joke at one point. I was like, let's just do a Tarantino cut where the Eagles win, just so we can have that
for us
to watch, just as a palate cleanser. Because like the over and over of seeing that the penalty and the
yeah, don't bring it up. It's a rough thing.
Brutal. And I still, as a knee jerk, when that comes on, I give the finger to the screen every time.
Wow. When you get that close to the game, I mean, I realize you're fans, but when you get as close as you have, like with Jason, does that change you as a fan? Because now because you got the inside view that many of us don't get to be at.
Absolutely, because the stakes become higher. And I hope, viewers outside of Philadelphia will want to root for Jason and his family once they see what things are like off the field and behind the scenes. Because it becomes so much more personal. Again, they're people you want to root for and you want to see succeed. And when you get to know Donna and Ed Kelce, you want great things for their kids, just like you want great things for your own. It's hard to separate yourself from the family as you're making things. It's hard. It's hard to not worry about Kylie going into labor as you're helping her and filming her pack the night before she leaves. It's tough to try and separate yourself in those moments, and sometimes you can, and that's okay too.
You talk about the babies, and you also talk about Jason. He's a giant of a man, but he's got daughters. I mean, please tell me that he talks baby talk to his daughters, because I would love to hear that big old man talk baby talk to his kids.
I think you see some of that come through in the film for sure. There's a funny photo out there of we had the premiere last Friday in Philadelphia. And Jason gave me a big hug, and I'm 5 foot, maybe 1, and I disappear in his arms. People don't understand how big these guys really are. Because they're all huge on the field together, but when you take them off the field and put them next to somebody like me, they're giants.
Being at that movie premiere, that's one of those events, because I've been to several. It's one of those where there's so much anxiety before it happens. You're charged up while it's happening, but at the end of it, it's like, what just happened? Did you document any of this in daily writing or anything? Because this was a huge moment for you guys.
It was huge. We only have the photos that were taken on the night, but yeah, we it's not lost on us. Like I said, we've been doing this a long time. Much like Jason, we still don't take anything for granted. We still don't think that anybody's going to hand us anything, and then we're going to have to go out there and work for it. But we're also trying to take the moments that are big and special and really kind of be present in them, because this stuff goes by so quickly, and then it becomes a memory, and then that's cool.
That's
so you got to appreciate the wins.
So you got to appreciate it.
Yeah, you got to capture those W's when you can.
So will you stick with the Philadelphia Eagles with more documentaries, or are we going to see you maybe do something with Aaron Rodgers?
My hope is that we continue. We kind of mirror the Rocky franchise. Yeah. And so Kelce 2 will obviously he will win the Super Bowl. And Kelce 4 he'll have probably retired at that point, and we'll have to figure out how to get him to Russia to kind of like figure out how to play in a Russian league or something like that. So that's our goal, is to just keep going.
Yeah, just give us a minute. Just give us a minute.
And then Kelce's Kelce's girls are going and to getting into football too, because girls getting into tag or flag football is just amazing. And by the time that you get up to number 8 in your storyline, they could be professionals.
Absolutely.
It's true. You know, Don and I are also a couple, and our 9-year-old daughter was at the premiere, and someone asked her what position she would play on the football field, and she said kicker, of course. So who knows? Maybe you will see these girls in the NFL down the line.
Well, congratulations on this documentary. I look forward to talking to you guys many more times in the future.
Thank you so much. It was our pleasure.
Anytime. Thank you so much.
Will you guys be brilliant today, okay?
Oh gosh, thank you.
Well, listen, we're the number 1 film on Amazon Prime right now.
There you go. Cool. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Take that in, screenshot the hell out of that, pass that around.
It's a win.
Have fun, you guys.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.